am going outside on a garden tour. Here's my squeaky door. The first thing I see are my benches. I've made two for right here when I come outside. Those holes down there can have snakes, so I like to look in them. Yesterday there was a snake that went underneath the door stoop. I look at my yard. I see that the other bench is behind the shed, so I can go and sit. I don't smoke, but that would be a perfect place to smoke if you smoked. I have a ladder. The rose that I planted next to the ladder was planted by mistake, and it is invasive. It has quadrupled in size in just 3 years, and the same color of pink that the ladder is has the same color of rose. So that rose has that color of pink. This looks like a big field of weeds, but there is something called a red, or I think it's a purple, clover. Yes, and I have alligators all over my yard. There's a big one. I got it the very first year we were here. But that's a purple clover. Never tasted it. And then next to it is a marjoram and also mint. It's an old mint. It's over 30 or 40 years. No, it's over 40 years old. And it was planted in my parents' yard. It's not been genetically modified. It's extremely mild. And I have a few maple trees that are growing that I need to cut because I don't want a tree in this place of herbs, because clover is an herb, and what it is doing, it's enriching the soil for everything else. The pink flower that's next to the stained glass mosaic bird bath is called phlox, and I have phlox, and it's invasive. It's growing all over the place. I have a watermelon somewhere in there to the right of the bird bath, and yes, that is a round water spinner, and it works. I just don't use it very often because usually I have morning glory that covers it and traps it. And we have several bird feeders. Along the hill I have bags of manure, and I am walking through my garden in my nightgown. None of my neighbors can see me because we have so many plants and trees, but I have trees in here. I have asparagus in that one. So I get 5-gallon buckets and put holes in the bottom, and then I put plain dirt or clay or soil, and then I put either topsoil and a mixture of manure in it, or I buy potting soil and use potting soil. And I have a type of wandering Jew that has a blue flower, and then I have a lemon verbena, and then of course there's maidenhair. I think that's maidenhair. Maidenhair fern, no. Queen Anne's lace is what that is, excuse me. Alright, and there's chocolate mint. And then there's a beautiful weed, several beautiful weeds. And that is the blue that I was talking about for the wandering Jew that I have. And then I have a strawberry plant. And in the strawberry plant is growing an avocado. I have avocados that grow all over the place. And then there are morning glories. This one has not gloried yet, but it will be so pretty when it glories. And I have one over here. The mint that I showed you earlier is more than waist high. It's higher than my waist, and it's blooming over here in the shade. But it is at least 4 feet, 3.5 to 4 feet tall. I could measure it. And this is the other side of the shed. This is and it's got a morning glory on it. I truly want to dig up some of these roses and share them. There are inside, underneath the rose, there are daylilies, and I didn't plant any potatoes over here, but my friend Chris gave me potatoes to plant. And then here's a white althea. I can't move this very well. And then I have maple trees that I need to cut out from under my our holly tree. This holly tree was a very tiny holly tree, and now it is not tiny. And it is in the direct path of my bluebird house. And this year I don't have any bluebirds, and I'm sure it's because of the tree, but something will grow, something will live in that house. I don't know what yet. Yesterday at Piedmont Park, I saw this plant, but it had different colors, and it was shorter, and it wasn't as vibrant as that, and I've forgotten the name of it. When I go inside, there's the phlox, and I have iris. I moved all of the iris away from the mailbox. I have goldenrod, and I do trim the goldenrod. Goldenrod is a tonic and edible. Then I have more mint, and I have beautiful garlic that my father grows, and I have some garlic that I bought at Sam's Club, and I'm going to plant this Sam's Club garlic because it is a purple, and it's very large and beautiful, so I'm going to do that. These are my allium garlic blooms right here, and lovely fescue is growing between it. And there you see that I have basil and lavender growing in manure. And I do that because there are no weeds surrounding it except for there. I can pull those weeds over there, but that tomato plant does not look happy, probably because it doesn't have enough wonderful drainage. The marjoram is a purple bloom, so I have purple or lavender blooms from mints and from marjorams. And this is black plastic that I'm going to stake with bamboo stakes. That's weeping ilex, and that is a Cherokee rose. I want someone to come and dig up my Cherokee rose. It is still blooming. It will bloom until August. It is a very small Cherokee rose because I have cut it back drastically. I have vinca growing back here, which I had no idea it would become this invasive. That is what the black plastic is for. Black plastic will kill kudzu, verbena, anything invasive that you cannot manage or control, instead of using terrible poisons or herbicides that have a half-life for neurological damage of 100 days. Please use black plastic. It does not hurt the water system or the soil or your nervous system. All it does is with solar power, manage invasives. And so here I am. I'm walking around through yes, a magnolia tree. This magnolia tree has not bloomed yet. This magnolia tree should be blooming. When I was 8, I climbed one this large, and my whole family was worried that I would kill myself falling because it wasn't sturdy enough for an 8-year-old. Not me anyway. This is lemon verbena right here, and it is going to be blooming. And I say verbena, it's lemon balm. It's not verbena. And things like this I enjoy eating. You hear a buzz. We have bees honeybees. I do have honeybees that have swarmed and created a bee hive in my yard. Not here though, that tree is gone. The dogwood tree that it swarmed in. But I have a juga and lemon balm, and then I have a Russian sage, that purple stuff. And then this is red tip. The red tip is covered with blooms that remind me of my pearl bush. I have a pearl bush plant that I hope I get to show you. And I have this right here. Looks like it could be, you know, something bad. Like sometimes you see 3 leaves and they're very fancy leaves. So it could be poison ivy. And it has stickers on it. Not stickers, prickles. And I don't say thorns because some people call them thorns, but even on a rose bush, they're not thorns. They are, because, well, I mean, the technical term. And then I have moss. And then I have this right here, which I believe is psychotropic. It is a leaf that I have not identified. It is a plant that I have not identified. And I really do hear the bees. They are really enjoying the flowers. This, I have yarrow, and it was blooming so pretty earlier. The Vietnamese plant I was telling you about is invasive. It's all over my hill. This is a little hill. Hi, Bob. You're saying goodbye?
Bye.
Okay, bye. Have fun. Say hi to Bob, the other Bob. And I have trees that come up. This is a cherry tree. I'm going to cut it again. It's been cut. That's why it looks like a bush. And there's the phlox and the iris. See, people look at this and they say, oh, you have weeds. Not if it's edible. Not if it flowers and gives beauty. That's a crepe myrtle. I have so many crepe myrtles. Lowe's had them for 63 cents. I bought 15 and planted them. My father gave me crepe myrtles, and I've rooted them. I've transplanted them. I've given them away. And from the roots that I've dug up, they have propagated. This is sweet shrub, and there are many babies to this sweet shrub. And that is a snail. Oh, you do see the snail. Oh, the snail has retracted. There it is, a snail. Ah, so much nature. And I have stepping stones. That one I have not decorated, but that one is decorated. And then right there is hiding a trash lid. And then I have a little tiny tree that will become 150 feet tall if I don't cut it down. That tree right there is that tree I just pointed to. Yes, it's entirely too big for 10 feet from my house. And of course this right here I've got to keep trimming. It's quince, and I do get fruit from it. And I don't know what this is, this red, but it's so pretty. I'm hoping that it's not something poisonous. It hasn't affected me, so might not be. I walk with my feet bare, and yesterday I cut bamboo on a subdivision where bamboo was not supposed to be growing. And what happened is nothing happened. I don't weed around my rose bushes. I don't see this area very much because I don't come over here to this side of the house. And I really should weed more. My husband, if he uses a weed whacker, everything will be dead. And I need to fertilize more. My favorite rose is the Mr. Lincoln. And this Mr. Lincoln needs to be trimmed severely, pruned. And then I have miniature thyme, but I can't use it because it's too close to the house, and the house has been treated for termites, and it's not recommended. I have Monardia. It's raspberry Monardia. Sylvia, a friend of mine in Texas, told me all about it. I have a crepe myrtle right there, and I decorate with trash lids. It's a pretty color. I don't have a pot to put there, and I have an elderberry right there, and of course the blackberries, and then that has a vine over it. I need to get rid of the grass that's grown up underneath the pearl bush. Now the pearl bush, this has a bloom, and this has been blooming longer than it has for several years. Maybe because we've had more rain and not too much like the flood 2 years ago. But I did several times a year, I do come out here and get rid of all the weeds, cut them down, and I don't put enough mulch down because the last time I put mulch down it was free mulch, and it was oak mulch, and I have oak trees still growing in this bed right here. And of course I planted ivy, and the ivy has not gone crazy, but I do need to trim it more. I need to put it in my flowers. This is a wonderful crepe myrtle that is over 20 feet tall. That fence is 6 feet tall, so I can easily say that that's 20 feet tall. And what's wonderful about it is it will be covered with red blooms in the next 3 weeks. And then there's a pear tree that my neighbor Betty planted, and my neighbors pruned this year. And as far as the rose bushes, I have 2 Mr. Lincolns, 1 Queen Elizabeth, and this is a right there is a South Carolina, or no, it's South Carolina, and it doesn't look all that pretty right now, but it was covered in blooms 3 weeks ago, and it's just retracting, and it's going to come back because I'll put some fertilizer, spray and grow or something on it. And then this is the I've got one the same age in the front yard, but my sister rooted it, and this is a rose bush that also needs cutting, and it has trees growing inside it, and there's thyme growing everywhere. That is called the moonstone, which I like because Wilkie Collins wrote a book called Moonstone. And I have over 100 stained glass stepping stones that are mosaics. Some of them have flowers, some of them have the sunshine, some of them are just geometric figures, and some of them don't have very many stained glass. And then I have chocolate mint growing too. That's chocolate mint. And you may say, well, why plant chocolate mint so close to the house? You can't eat it. I plant it because when you walk, it smells good. This is one of my favorite ones. Just geometric, nothing, no message. And then when we first moved here, my husband and I wanted to do something physical. So we went around and we got granite and put it around the house, which helps with heat. This is a different kind of grout. This is a sandstone grout. It's not the terracotta grout from the others. I'm talking about this, as well as this. And see, my neighbor Mac Porter gave me all of this glass. He didn't sell any of it to me. I did give him a check one time just because, and I decided to make all these, and I've got 2 tables inside the house as well. Alright, I'm going to tell you secrets, because people will not be coming to my house to see these secrets. I have hiding places. This is one hiding place. There are 3 cedars here. 2 are American cedar. This one is not. That's a cypress that was $3 and 2 feet tall when we bought it. And it is probably 50 feet tall now. And birds nest in it somewhere. They sleep in it, definitely. That is an American cypress. And that is an American cypress. So I could have a huge Christmas tree, or I could have a medium-sized Christmas tree. But I won't, because I want to keep my yard. This is an amia launcher. And then I have too much shade back here, but I still have gardenia in the shade, and I have several trees, cherry trees. I don't know the name of that. I've never entered that in a contest because it's never been the right time. But I have an antique bush that my husband bought for me next to a Japanese maple and this amia launcher. And this is a little forest here. They're planted entirely too close to be wonderful specimen trees. I do have problems with my cherry trees. They have scars on them. And okay, so then on the ground you have violets and cat mulch. Okay, I pay $8 or $9 for cat mulch, which has urine in it, which is a fertilizer, nitrogen. And I put newspapers down also to help these trees, because these trees have to deal with a hill and they have to deal with this hot weather as well as a drought. And I also have different kinds of iris. Now, I don't walk through it. I walk around the cat stuff, and I will talk to my husband about exactly where it needs to be placed. I have stones and I have cherry trees growing up all over the place. Somebody come with an axe and you can have a cherry tree. I have things that have not disappeared yet because I'm going to manage them, and this right here is privet, and it will become 15 feet tall, and it's absolutely worthless and invasive, and I don't want it. It doesn't bloom, it doesn't give me any food, it is not wonderful. I have different kinds of iris, and I do have poison ivy, and I still walk around with my bare feet because it doesn't affect me. I don't step in it and rub it on purpose, but never had a problem. I have variegated vinca. It doesn't seem to be as invasive as the other. And I have forsythia. The forsythia was pretty this year. I have a hosta. You can cut hosta and propagate it by dividing it, and that's what I do. I have a wonderful grapevine that is quite large. There are several in my yard behind the fence. I have a forest behind, or woods behind my fence, with quite large trees that are tulip poplar, and cherry and sycamore, all the trees that are quite poetic. And then I have the grapevine going everywhere, and I have this, and I don't know the name of it, but it has a lovely heart-shaped leaf. I don't know. Yeah. And so I'm going to step over and not trip. Ouch. That is a vine with stickers and more privet. I will come back here when my husband comes home. I have pyrocanthus and blackberry, and there's a form of dogwood. I don't know what form it is, but I have over 80 dogwoods behind the fence, and maybe 4 inside the fence that are quite large. And then a pathway with azalea and pyrocanthus. And by the way, when the chairs are cleaned out, or if you bring other chairs, this makes a wonderful place to hide, because you can't see very much beyond the trees and shrub. And then I have a leatherleaf mahonia with bent leaves. I think that the leaves have gone grown too much or too fast or something. There is a vine with a very large leaf inside. I don't know what that vine is. And then this is not an oak leaf hydrangea, but it is a white hydrangea with the bloom of an oak leaf hydrangea. Behind it grows an oak leaf hydrangea. It took me several tries to get that oak leaf hydrangea back there to live. Yeah. And then I have entirely too many elderberry plants growing around, and I have one red buckwheat, which will give me beautiful buckwheat seeds that I will share free. And then that is the yard in the back. I've got the side and the front to show you.